So what it takes to win these matches and try and take down these big titles is major limited time on tour, but you've shown Mr. Tom, you kind of seem like maybe there's some players. We did even better by showing it to you there, and he is now through, so it was the opportunity of a lifetime for those guys, and some responded to it better than others. There must be guys looking at the draw and thinking, okay, these are all good players, but there's nobody really standing in response to having a big opportunity to really go deep in one of these events, an opportunity that they might not normally have. There are a lot of power, though. A touch. No, Yuka, do we only bootus though, so ain't toys. No, Makun or Inha. Duong Quoc Hoang hasn't been to a big semi-final yet, but he's been in some big quarterfinals. In fact, he was at 16 spot. And he's off to a decent start in that quest. For the best out there, and really doesn't have a whole lot of weaknesses when it comes to offensive part of the game, and like always, the always piss at the pro. Difficult how he gets this back. Use the Kuba off the cushion. Surprised he's taking this.
Now.
He had more faith in hitting. I said it's super thin. So AJ's gonna have a combination to get started. Gotta predict. Yeah, awkward. Like, what's the kid's name from Germany? The So Good Vogel matches also, so. Which is a different kind of feeling than an underdog. We've seen that before. He's definitely ready to be out here with the big boys, I think. Many spoils, I think, for new stars. Their ability to play. It's everything else back them. The way they play, the style. And a little bit of unpredictability goes a long way, and I adore it. POP. Sharp man, sharp young man, and a really good young man. He's certainly a very good player, but he's leveled in the early stages of the... Man, he's picked up the speed since the PLP also, and looking for a pocket on the three. He's got it. See, he's got a little handle here. Maybe has to play a light one to hold for the pink four. Not in the way, so... play the bowl. Here in Tilford. Really also weather. I'll never say we're here, maybe a hair bouncy because of this or that, but no complaints this week with the weather so perfect. Keeps the players in a better mood. Everyone feels better about things when the weather's so nice. Now this shot got awfully odd from nowhere on that black 8. And I thought it was missable. He tried to attack with outside, and don't think that was a big option. To retake the lead here. Here's Lassa match. We doors. Dean Shields from Manchester, who of course beat him in his home country at the Hanover Open back in October, 10-8. It was the other way around this time. Dwayne coming through 10-8. There it seemed a little thin, but then the cue ball arced nicely, but the one wasn't very close. Fully. And just take your chances leaving something long. And a nice shot. Maybe a year or so, but I think he's back and he's better. And a great shot there with the jump cue. What I was talking about earlier, there's players you don't took that down, and that downfield of the town of B paired to one of these majors. Yeah, he was back in Glasgow last week to defend that Scottish Open title. Quite as early an exit as it will be in one of these events because it was only a 16-man single elimination phase. It's also been a draw the ball here. He was in a few battles to survive, from what I remember, on the one-loss side of the early one. A real seasoned veteran that has a lot lot of talent. Now that's table someone who he might have made him favor against him run nudges. And if this fall off to a very good start. Yeah, that didn't like the way those opened too much. 2 drawing ones in a row for DQH. 64 of the Hangway Open last year to get through to the last 32, and Otto only went down 10-9. You know, it all played into this Sean Mans. It doesn't address about all shots, and when you don't allow that to happen, when you intense between the ears, which definitely affects the back arm. Yeah, and he's got that youthful sense of not really
in his past, and that's reflected in his manner around the table and the way he plays. Well, that's
Duong not getting away with the dry break this time. AJ Manis closes to 1 behind. Now this table's been awfully stingy on the 1. Not so much what the key ball it seems, and 2 down at all. Or at all, really. They've both been really on point past the break. It felt like Camino had, of course, being younger and whatnot, and still trying to. I also like that player that's mind sure and that upset our loss of wood. I don't think that's a bad thing. Yeah, there's different thing with names in Spain. It's something to do with the names of 2 families that have come from both a pair to a bunch of young shears flying in this round, of course, and getting younger, it seems like every sport. Just glide around the table and don't sort of ambles around the place a little bit, almost like he's not really even thinking about what he's doing. Good deal easier than we know. Certainly is. And this has been a good start from Duong Quoc Hoang. And he's exploited it just as much as he did in the opening rack, and so we now have multiple racks in it for the first time in the... Sam Henderson, good shout out to him making that final 64. Constantly building on that game. Well, no, he didn't have them between Dawn and Madness. Faithis. Thurig, the clash. Whom fei jefu fu. The Tao people, but we'll see how it unfolds. Steyer's one of those guys who, if he was playing team sports, he'd be a fan favorite. Pro sport, there's players that always get questioned, every time, and Tyler's kind of one of those, and that's why to me, and unless someone shows otherwise, he's a hard guy not to pick for that mistake. Can he get enough on it to move the cue ball out? Oh, sweet stroke, elevated over the 9. That one'll make you feel good. Looking for 10 rack fashion. And with his first break and run, indeed, the first break and run from either player. Get easy to overlook. Yeah, went so. Double kissed it, made fluke it. Firm. Order to beat the double kiss, you kind of got to smooth the ball back down the table. And Miss Q, it sounded like. Do you leave a gap at so good when he elevates the cue, it's amazing. And think about when he walks around the table, maybe a light breeze would blow him over, right? It just kind of... I tell you one thing he does better than most is it's got to be that way, just because I kind of feel like Manis has the mentality, I don't care what the score is, as long as I can in tuber and both of the toes warm sing very intense to clinch the cup ratio to MVP Lucia to clinch it in the next match against. If far around this man at the table right now had a big part on them coming together as a team, especially that team to an easy win. Yeah, they were 4-0 up in that opening team match. Europe came back to win as last. Vice, I think, figured out the speed a little better, and he's going to get a look at the blue too, and a good look at it. I think yeah, it seemed like every match that week at the Spanish Open was hill. So, just by keeping thin there, quite torn, Denjing, and Lugo was a beautiful city. I mean, just it was easy to stay there anyways. But sometimes you have back-to-back, and that's just a beautiful shot. And you talk about one. Yeah, he had those couple of quarterfinals year before last, but didn't Matchroom events. In 2024, didn't go for the Usokas Ibiata A's there. Zlay Odafon, Visse European might do here in Telford this week because he's playing really well, and with his second break and run in the last 3. If he can get a foothold, he can turn this around, and maybe it's going to come here. Well, maybe not. Remember that mistake early, right? The one kind of glaring mistake when he off the red 3. Good experience, youngness, years, this young man. Overcut the 2-2's 2/8 the puck. Ew, side to Cubum. Do something for it as a pass. Just come across for the combination. Holmes be very way to start the comeback. A quick kill. And AJ Manis finally stops the rot. Down, but he has just taken rack 10. Needed to build on it with the 1 in the side. And he's 9 pushed out that time. 1 stayed there actually, but this here, Rack Lewis trying to kill the ball bit for the 2. Wants to fall here on I need it. When is an angle stunned by the 6 and get all the way down? I'm not sure. No. The thin and you ooh, lays pretty decent. Like this. Speed controls, very ideal. Not getting too thin. Oh, this is turning into that run to the quarterfinals in Sarajevo back in March. Be in March qualification after. Like what I've seen. Always plays steady, I mean, but I just feel like he looks really comfortable. Playing very. Manis' attempted comeback has been stopped in its tracks very quick. Just 12 breaking, whether 8-3 lead, he's made the 1. Just gonna knit this on the 3. Taking. It was in. Shouldn't be a problem. Easy mess ball. Duh. Now watch out for the 9 if it clip. Now watch out for the 9 if it clip. Earlier today for defending champion Robbie Capizzo. My huge shot there from Duong, especially after missing. Make a little easier, a little more comfortable. That's perfect here. He'll just go the short one near the 7. So as I said, 2 players have really made a name for themselves, and so likely now. I mean, besides the break shot, which has caused Manus 2 scratches out of Vietnamese star. And that is now 6 of the last. He's been out on the main table. Yeah, there hasn't been some play to get to this 9-3 score. And in return, this is what AJ Gern nu Control Quach. A few scores like this to do. Ooh, okay, got done. Done missed Vom. Set completed. Max Lettner winning that hill finish against Wang Hung Sang. Lettner, another player who has yet to win. That's no surprise to see the name. But perhaps the way he's playing here, I finally gave one up. Didn't expect it there, but yes. Penned the last rights for this match. Manus looks as though he's going to extend it here. Duong has done very little wrong in this match. He did something wrong there, though, and he's paid the price for it. So, Manus. The AJ Manus is planning to stay in his. Taking balls at all of this match. Dry breaks. He has made a ball 1. When I'm pushing out to some type of rail first shot, 1 a lot of times. Did real well as it catches the point. And it's just a little. But if you can continue to play like this, used to say, ask really here on the 4, 2 rails for the 5. Is enough speed? It's got to go up a little bit. Yes, it is.
The right-hander should be able to reach that, and therefore kill the cue ball for the pound setting. Hard to see anything going wrong now. It's been a very competent performance. Very conformist. This new lots in
previous rack, but was very much at odds with what we've seen from him throughout the day. But hold on, what he don't hear? So, and you still got why? For the second ray in a row. Reed finished a pretty shot up to 8 to finish this match. Well, as I said, I think we expected a close one here, and it looked as though we were going to get it. When Manus was only 1 behind at 3-2. One of those covered had last 16 spots, and the first of them has gone to Duong Quoc Hoang. He defeats AJ Minus by 10 racks to 4. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.